Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the City of Little Rock Board of Directors, May 21st, 2024, City of Little Rock Board of Directors meeting. And we'll also welcome those that are watching and streaming online. Madam Clerk, if you would, please call the roll.
Director Miller.
Here.
Director Richardson. Director Peck.
Here. Here.
Director Hines.
Present.
Director Lewis. Director Wyrick. Present. Director Compuris. Director Phillips. Director Adcock. Present. Vice Mayor Webb. Here. Mayor Scott.
Present. Well, now, if we can have a invocation from City Director Lance Hines.
Thank you. Please bow your head. Dear Lord, we come here today to look at the business of the people of Little Rock, the entities involved with us. Please watch over us tonight and let us seek your will in the things that we do. Please watch over our first responders, our city employees, anyone who is in harm's way as they go about doing the city's business and serving our residents. We all pray this in your name. Amen.
Amen. May we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Members of the City Board, today we want to recognize National Tennis Month, and so Vice Mayor Webb and I will stand before you, and also I will read the proclamation. If there are any individuals that are part of the U.S. Tennis, the National Tennis, if they'll come to the podium. All right. Give them a round of applause. Whereas tennis is a widely beloved sport that not only promotes physical fitness, but also fosters the development of coordination, flexibility, and strength while nurturing self-esteem, character, and confidence. And whereas the United States Tennis Association stands as the largest tennis organization globally, boasting a membership of over 550,000 individuals from all corners of the country. And whereas recent data from the Physical Activity Council reveals that a record-breaking 23.8 million Americans actively engaged in tennis in 2023, marking an unprecedented 25% surge in the participation from 2020, and accounting from the highest number of players since the initiation of the PAC study in 2007. And National Tennis Month serves as a platform to showcase local programs and activities at parks and other facilities, providing players and non-players alike with access to courts and play opportunities in their communities. And whereas the spirit of the National Tennis Month motivates individuals and families to embrace an active lifestyle by engaging in the sports of tennis, thereby fostering a stronger, healthier community, whereas through the celebration of National Tennis Month, we aim to inspire and encourage of all ages to pick up a racket, step onto the court, and experience the countless physical and mental benefits that this beloved sport has to offer. Now, therefore, I, Frank Scott Jr., Mayor of the City of Little Rock, Arkansas, do hereby proclaim May 2024 as National Tennis Month. Let's give them a round of applause.
Please do.
Hi, my name is Chip Stearns. I'm the director at Rebsman Tennis Center, just right up the road. I'm here with members of the ATA, of the Arkansas Tennis Association right here. We all have a great relationship with them. I really just more wanted to say thank you, Mayor Scott, for that proclamation, but also to let everybody know that our biggest event, the UAMS Health Little Rock Open, which is the only pro tennis event in the state of Arkansas, is this upcoming week. Starting on May 26th through June 2nd, and it's free to the public, so we'd love for everybody to come out. It's a great time to see some pros on their way up, some people that we'll eventually see on TV, and we can see them right here in Little Rock. So appreciate you guys having us. Thank you.
All right. Looks like we have one modification to today's agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved, add M1 to the consent agenda.
There's a motion second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Ayes have it. Madam Clerk, if you would, please read the consent agenda. And before we start, do you have a question, Director Warwick?
Yes, Mayor, thank you for recognizing me. Item 3 is a resolution to provide a drainage improvement project on Greenland Cove. Did we get any maps? I apologize, I wasn't here last week, and so I didn't hear a presentation if there was one. I'm happy that we're funding some work there, but I'd like to know how encompassing it is and what streets it takes.
Sure. If Director Honeywell can quickly approach, or if we can get her the map from last week, that'd be great, whichever one is quicker.
We didn't have any maps for
Okay. If Director Honeywell, if you'll quickly share.
Thank you, Mayor. Director Rock, this is one of our capital bond projects. I don't have a set of plans with me here tonight, but I'll be happy to send that to you. It's one of the ones that we approved as part of that program.
When I went out there and looked at this particular area, and it was drainage that was required on the back of Greenland Coves and then some across the front, north of there and west, if I have my directions right. So is this 131,000 covering all of that area, or is it just a part of it? That's what I'm interested in.
It should be the scope that we discussed when we developed these projects. So yes.
Yeah, if I can get a map, that'd be great, and then I can send it to the neighborhood, and I know they'll really be happy.
You bet, I will do that for you.
All right, Madam Clerk.
The consent agenda consists of a resolution to authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute any documents necessary for the sale of land to the Arkansas State Highway Commission in the amount of $62,349 as part of the Cantrell Road Improvement Project from Taylor Loop Road to Pleasant Ridge Drive and for other purposes. A resolution to authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute any documents necessary for the sale of land to the Arkansas State Highway Commission in the amount of $36,236 as part of the Cantrell Road Improvement Project from Taylor Loop Road to Pleasant Ridge Drive and for the purposes. A resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with H.W. Tucker Company in amount not to exceed $131,475 for the Greenland Cove Drainage Improvement Project and for the purposes funding from the limited tax general obligation capital improvement bonds. A resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Maciel Favela doing business as Mo Concrete in amount not to exceed $91,336.72 for the West 41st Street Drainage Improvement Project and for the purposes funding from the limited tax general obligation capital improvement bonds. A resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with FTN Associates LTD in amount not to exceed $104,800 to provide engineering consulting services at the city's Class 1 landfill and for other purposes. A resolution to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Samsara Incorporated in amount not to exceed $215,669.60 for a 3-year hardware licenses agreement for GPS and in-car cameras and for the purposes. A resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract with Smart Automotive Group in an amount not to exceed $205,773 plus applicable taxes and fees for the purchase of 3 GMC 1-ton 4x4 trucks with dump beds for the Public Works Department Street Operations Division and for the purposes. A resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into a contract with Fence World Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $81,950 plus applicable taxes and fees for the installation of a security fence around the future Little Rock Micro Home Village to be located at 3405 West Roosevelt Road and for the purposes, funding from the American Rescue Plan Act. A resolution authorizes the city manager to enter into an architectural and engineering services contract with JWPS LLC, doing business as Williams and Dean Architecture, an amount not to exceed $73,500 to provide architectural and engineering design services for the development of the Little Rock Micro Home Village Community Center and for the purposes, funding from the American Rescue Plan Act. A resolution to set June 4th, 2024 as the date of public hearing on the appeal of the Planning Commission's recommendation of denial for a planned zoning development titled Dworkin STR2 PDC located at 4305 North Lookout Road in the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes, a resolution to extend the South Main Temporary Improvement District to operate on June 1st, 2024, June 15th, 2024, and June 16th, 2024 for the Soma Entertainment District and for the purposes, a resolution to change the name of Maryland Avenue and South Taylor Street between Fair Park Boulevard and West 12th Street to Darius Nelson Way, and for the purposes, a resolution to amend Little Rock, Arkansas Resolution Number 16,243 of February the 20th, 2024, that approved the inclusions of the CDBG Home and Hopwa sources and uses of the 2024 funds from the United States government and the city's annual plan, and for the purposes, that concludes the consent agenda.
Move for the adoption of the consent agenda.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Madam Clerk, if you would, please read the, I'm sorry, Vice Mayor Webb.
Thank you, Mayor Scott. Before we go to the grouped items, could I ask that 15, 17, and 21 be held separate?
Second.
Just those three?
15, 17, and 21.
Okay.
There's a motion and a second to take originally established grouped items to separate them out. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Director Computers.
Can I ask you and Tom a real quick question? We have 7 members here today. Can we suspend the rules with 7 members?
No.
I mean, I'm just,
We still can go through a first reading.
yeah, I agree with your point of moving them over, but I think we want to go to first reading on all these motions today.
We may have someone coming in shortly.
That's fine. I'm just,
Correct.
I wanted to,
Let's go with the first reading,
Except those 3.
except those 3.
An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan office development titled Coral Towers LLC located at 13,705 Pleasant Hill Road, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes, an ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Midtown Premium Properties 1, STR2 PDC, located at 3501 Kavanaugh Boulevard, Unit 1, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes, an ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan commercial development titled Plunkett Mixed Use PCD located at 14,118 Canis Road, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes, an ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Rose Investments LLC 2, STR2 PDC, located at 7913 Apache Road, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes, An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Martin 1 STR2 PDC located at 7001 Bluebird Drive, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes, an ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Taylor STR2 PDC located at 31 Coolwood Drive, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes, an ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Midtown Premium Properties 3, STR2 PDC, located at 514 Sherman Street, Unit 1, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes, an ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish plan development commercial titled Midtown Premium Properties 4, STR2 PDC, located at 514 Sherman Street, Unit 2, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes, an ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Midtown Premium Properties 5, STR2 PDC, located at 514 Sherman Street, Unit 3, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes, an ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development residential titled Sanchez Triplex PDC, located at 1200 South Taylor Street, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes, an ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled King 2 STR2 PDC, located at 6419 R Street, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes, an ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled King 3 STR2 PDC located at 319 Rice Street, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes, an ordinance to condemn the property located at 3900 Asher Avenue, Little Rock, Arkansas, as a structural fire and health hazard, to provide for summary abatement procedures, to direct city staff to take such action as is necessary to raise and remove said structure, to declare an emergency, and for the purposes, an ordinance to condemn the property located at 5819 Young Road, Little Rock, Arkansas, as a structural fire and health hazard, to provide for summary abatement procedures, to direct city staff to take such action as is necessary to raise and remove said structure, to declare an emergency, and for the purposes, an ordinance to condemn the property located at 5922 South University Avenue, Little Rock, Arkansas, as a structural fire and health hazard, to provide for summary abatement procedures, to direct city staff to take such action as necessary to raise and remove said structure, to declare an emergency, and for the purposes, an ordinance to condemn the property located at 6705 South University Avenue, Little Rock, Arkansas, as a structural fire and health hazard, to provide for summary abatement procedures, to direct city staff to take such action as is necessary to raise and remove said structure, to declare an emergency, and for the purposes, an ordinance to dispense with the requirement of competitive selection, to authorize the city manager to renew the contract with Infor USA Incorporated in amount not to exceed $284,992.87, plus applicable taxes and fees for software maintenance for the city's enterprise resource planning system, to declare an emergency, and for other purposes, first reading.
Move to suspend the rules and place on second.
The motion is out of order.
Madam Clerk, if you would, please read the separate items for the first time.
An ordinance to approve a plan zone development, establish a plan development commercial titled Midtown Premium Properties 2, STR2 PDC, located at 3501 Kavanaugh Boulevard, Unit 2, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes. Number 17, an ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Bumpus STR2 PDC, located at 415 North Monroe Street, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes. Item 21, an ordinance to approve a plan zoning development and to establish a plan development commercial titled King 1 STR2 PDC, located at 5208 Lee Avenue, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes. 33, an ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Brotman STR2 PDC, located at 221 East 16th Street, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes. Number 34, an ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Martin 2 STR2 PDC located at 4816 Kenyon Street, Little Rock, Arkansas, amending the official zoning map of the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, and for the purposes.
Madam Clerk, members of the board, we now have 8 to suspend the rules, so we'll go back to those group items and start for the second reading. We have 8 now online.
I'm here. This is Antoine.
Okay. 620.
Vice Mayor Webb has a question.
Thank you, Mayor Scott. When I pulled 15, 17, and 21, I apologize, but I skipped item 14, which I also meant to ask that it be held separate. Now that we have, so I'd move that that be held separate.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Item 14 will be held separate. Madam Clerk, if you'll read item 14, then we'll go back to. We've already read it. Oh, we already read it.
Yeah.
Madam Clerk, is there a motion second to suspend the rules to go to the second reading?
So moved.
On the grouped items?
The grouped items.
Yes.
There's a motion from Director Hines. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Second reading. Then I'll come to you after the second reading, Director Adcock.
An ordinance to approve a plan zone development, establish a plan office development titled Coral Towers LLC located at 13,705 Pleasant Hill Road. An ordinance to approve a plan zone development, establish a plan commercial development titled Plunkett Mixed Use PCD located at 14,118 Canis Road. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Rose Investments LLC 2 STR2 PDC located at 7913 Apache Road. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Martin 1 STR2 PDC located at 7001 Bluebird Drive. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Taylor STR2 PDC located at 31 Coolwood Drive. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Midtown Premium Properties 3, STR2 PDC, located at 514 Sherman Street, Unit 1. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Midtown Premium Properties 4, located STR2 PDC, located at 514 Sherman Street, Unit 2. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Midtown Premium Properties 5, STR2 PDC, located at 514 Sherman Street, Unit 3. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development residential titled Sanchez Triplex PDC, located at 1200 South Taylor Street. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled King 2 STR2 PDC, located at 6419 R Street. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled King 3 STR2 PDC located at 319 Rice Street. An ordinance to condemn the property located at 3900 Asher Avenue, Little Rock, Arkansas, as a structural fire and health hazard, to provide for summary abatement procedures, to direct city staff to take such action as is necessary to remove said structure, to declare an emergency. An ordinance to condemn the structure located at 5819 Young Road, Little Rock, Arkansas, as a structural fire and health hazard, to provide for summary abatement procedures, to direct city staff to take such action as is necessary to declare an emergency. An ordinance to condemn the property located at 5922 South University Avenue, Little Rock, Arkansas, was a structural fire and health hazard, to provide for summary abatement procedures, to direct city staff to take such action as is necessary to raise and remove said structure, to declare an emergency. An ordinance to condemn this property located at 6705 South University Avenue, Little Rock, Arkansas, as a structural fire and health hazard, to provide for summary abatement procedures, to direct city staff to take such action as is necessary to raise or remove said structure, to declare an emergency. An ordinance to dispense with the requirement of competitive selection to authorize the city manager to renew the contract with N4 US Incorporated an amount not to exceed $284,992.87 plus applicable taxes and fees for software maintenance for the city's enterprise resource planning system to declare an emergency. Second reading.
We suspend the rules and place on third and final reading.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Before we go to the third reading, Director Adcock, did you have a question?
No.
Third reading, please.
An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan office development titled Coral Towers LLC located at 13,705 Pleasant Hill Road. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan commercial development titled Plunkett Mixed Use PCD located at 14,118 Canis Road. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Rose Investments LLC 2, STR2 PDC located at 7913 Apache Road. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Martin 1, STR2 PDC located at 7001 Bluebird Drive. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Taylor, STR2 PDC located at 31 Coolwood Drive. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Midtown Premium Properties 3, STR2 PDC located at 514 Sherman Street, Unit 1. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Midtown Premium Properties 4, STR2 PDC located at 514 Sherman Street, Unit 2. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development and to establish a plan development commercial titled Midtown Premium Properties 5, STR2 PDC located at 514 Sherman Street, Unit 3. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development residential titled Sanchez Triplex PDC located at 1200 South Taylor Street. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled King 2 STR2 PDC located at 6419 R Street. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled King 3 STR2 PDC located at 319 Rice Street. An ordinance to condemn the property located at 3900 Asher Avenue, Little Rock, Arkansas as a structural fire and health hazard, to provide for summary abatement procedures, to direct city staff to take such action as necessary to raise and remove said structure, declare an emergency. An ordinance to condemn the property located at 5819 Young Road, Little Rock, Arkansas as a structural fire and health hazard, to provide for summary abatement procedures, to direct city staff to take such action as is necessary to raise and remove said structure, to declare an emergency. An ordinance to condemn the property located at 5922 South University Avenue, Little Rock, Arkansas as a structural fire and health hazard, to provide for summary abatement procedures, to direct city staff to take such action as is necessary to raise and remove said structure, to declare an emergency. An ordinance to condemn the property located at 6705 South University Avenue, Little Rock, Arkansas as a structural fire and health hazard, to provide for summary abatement procedures, to direct city staff to take such action as necessary to raise and remove said structure, to declare an emergency. An ordinance to dispense with the requirement for competitive selection, to authorize the city manager to renew the contract with N4 USA Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $284,992.87 plus applicable taxes and fees for software maintenance for the city's enterprise resource planning system, to declare an emergency. Third and final reading.
Members of the board, we've had three readings. Are there any questions? Three readings. Are there any questions? Three readings. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Madam Clerk, if you would, please.
Mayor, you have emergency clauses on 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32.
As read, all the emergency clauses read. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it.
Let the record reflect that the vote was unanimous.
Vote was unanimous. Madam Clerk, if you would, please read the separate items.
Item 14, an ordinance to approve a plan zone development, establish a plan development commercial titled Midtown Premium Properties 1, STR2 PDC located at 3501 Kavanaugh Boulevard, Unit 1. Second reading. Oh, that was first reading.
That was the second reading.
A second.
No, but we didn't have I'm sorry. I read that. We didn't have a motion and a second to take that to second reading.
Motion to suspend the rules and have second reading on ordinance number 14.
There's a motion, is there a second?
I'd second that.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Madam Clerk.
An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Midtown Premium Properties 1, STR2 PDC, located at 3501 Kavanaugh Boulevard, Unit 1. Second reading.
Move to suspend the rules and place on third and final reading.
Second.
We have a motion, and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Third reading.
An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Midtown Premium Properties 1, STR2 PDC, located at 3501 Kavanaugh Boulevard, Unit 1, third and final reading.
Members of the board, we've had 3 readings. We'll see a question from Director Webb. Vice Mayor Webb, I apologize.
Thank you, Mayor Scott. I went to the Neighborhood Association meeting last week and received letters of opposition to this from the Neighborhood Association. And I wanted to bring that to the attention of the board, and that's why I asked for this to be held separately.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Webb, and reflect there's no one here for or against in the comments, but we do hear what Vice Mayor Webb has shared from some neighborhood meetings. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Nays have it. Madam Clerk, you go to the next reading.
I need a second to take item 15 to second reading.
Motion to take item 15, to suspend the rules and place item 15 on second reading.
Second.
There's a motion second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All
Motion to
opposed,
suspend.
say,
I'm sorry.
all opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Second.
Motion- Motion to suspend the rules and place this on third and final reading.
No, we hadn't read it too
Ed,
yet.
got to read.
Oh, sorry. Getting ahead of myself there.
An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Midtown Premium Properties 2, STR2 PDC, located at 3501 Kavanaugh Boulevard, Unit 2, second reading.
Move to suspend the rules and place on third and final reading.
Second.
There's a motion second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Third reading.
An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Midtown Premium Properties 2, STR2 PDC, located at 3501 Kavanaugh Boulevard, Unit 2, third and final reading.
Members of the board, we've had 3 readings. Any question? Vice Mayor Webb?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Same comment about this one.
All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Nays have it. Madam Clerk, if you would, please read.
I need a
Motion and
motion.
second for a second reading for this item.
Yes, I'd like to ask to suspend the rules on item 17 and place on second reading.
So motion, is there a second? There's a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Second reading.
We've got too many motions going on. An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Bumpus STR2 PDC, located at 415 North Monroe Street. Second reading.
Move to suspend the rules and place on third and final.
Second.
We've had a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Third reading.
An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled Bumpus STR2 PDC, located at 415 North Monroe Street. Third and final reading.
Members of the board, we've had 3 readings. Vice Mayor Webb?
Thank you, Mayor Scott. Same comment.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Nays have it. Madam Clerk, if you, can we get a motion and a second for the next item?
Item 21.
Item 21. I move to suspend the rules and place item 21 on second reading.
There's a motion, there's a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Second reading.
An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled King 1 STR2 PDC, located at 5208 Lee Avenue. Second reading.
Move to suspend the rules and place on third and final reading.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
Ayes have it.
An ordinance to approve a plan zoning development, establish a plan development commercial titled King 1 STR2 PDC, located at 5208 Lee Avenue. Third and final reading.
Members of the board, we've had 3 readings. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, say nay.
Aye.
Nays have it. Is there a motion second for the next item?
33.
Move to suspend the rules and place item 33 on second reading.
There's a motion second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. Second reading.
An ordinance to approve a plan zone development, establish a plan development commercial titled Brotman STR2 PDC located at 221 East 16th Street, second reading.
We suspend the rules and place on third and final reading.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, say nay. Ayes have it for third reading. Go to the third reading, please.
An ordinance to approve a plan zone development, establish a plan development commercial titled Brotman STR2 PDC located at 221 East 16th Street, third and final reading.
Members of the board, we have one comment from Miss Amy Brotman and Greg Lane. They'll approach the podium if they're here. Please approach the podium.
Hi, I just wanted to say I'm the property owner. I don't know really what the right procedure is, but I'm here in case I need to say anything.
Thank you so much. Members of the board, any questions? Any questions?
Yeah.
Director Miller.
Director Miller? I didn't see his hand. I'm sorry, Director Miller.
No, thank you. I'm trying to figure out what's going on 33. It's in Ward 1. I mean, I don't have any problem with this. What's the problem with this? Why has it been pulled and done separately? Well, maybe someone can tell me if there's a problem with this request. Is there somebody on the board who can talk to me about this?
The Planning Commission passed it and staff recommends denial. So Jamie, if he's here.
Director Miller, staff's recommendation to denial was strictly based upon the current zoning of R4, which already gave the density that we felt was allowable for that, not necessarily a short-term rental. In that aspect, there hadn't been, at the time of our recommendation, we looked at it within that block, there hasn't been short-term rentals approved. However, previously, just a block north on East 15th Street, the board has approved a modification to a planned development. If you remember, there was 3 homes that was built as part of a planned development portion of it, and the board did approve modifications of one of those homes to be a planned development. So the only opposition that was tendered was staff's recommendation of denial, just that it was existing R4, which would allow duplex, and we didn't feel that a short-term rental was in that area, was needed in that area, and that was it.
So you talked to the applicant about this?
All of our recommendations were sent out to the applicant prior to the Planning Commission's meeting.
You said there was an exception to this, one block from this?
To the north, I was talking about, there was if you look at the zoning map, because capital zoning is right across the street from this address. On 16th, it also abuts Cumberland. There was 3 houses that was built as part of a planned development at the southeast corner of 15th and Cumberland. And that was the start of that short-term rental in that area, and we opposed that one just based upon that it was a previously approved planned development at that time for single-family residential. Our opposition to this one is essentially there's not a planned development or a short-term rental in that area. The only one is a block away, and we felt the R4 density was, for the duplex, was enough for that area.
Okay, thank you. This one, I don't see a problem with this. I'm going to vote for this. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Director Phillips. All right, we'll come back to you. Director Wyrick.
Thank you, Mayor. I just had a question for Jamie in regards to his comments about this being an R4 location. Looking on the, I think it's the, let me see which map this is I'm looking the zoning map, it shows R4, R3, no, R5, R3 in that same location. So this application is to change it from R4 to an STR?
Yes,
And will it be 4 STRs or will it just be one? What is,
it is currently a duplex right now, and it's, the structure we rented is 1 unit. Hold on a second, I may be looking at the wrong,
it'd be 2
Right up.
STRs?
yeah, single-family home, so it's going to be rented as 1 unit.
So it'd be 1 STR
Yes, planned development.
instead of 2.
No, it could be, it's R4, which allows a duplex by right or by approved use.
Okay, so that's why I'm asking the question.
So they could split that house into 2 units and adhere to the Arkansas Fire Prevention Code to allow that to happen. And in R4, they could also have a single-family residential home in that same zoned location.
But the application is an STR for one of the duplexes.
It's a single, structure.
So there's one building there now. It's not
That's
a
correct.
duplex.
Not a duplex.
Not a duplex, okay, and it's going to be a STR.
Yes.
Okay. Have we had any STRs in the past where we had, I don't recall, where we had R4s or changed STRs and we had 1 unit that was an STR and the other one was just left as a duplex? Have we ever had that situation before?
We have. There is, and that's why I started, wrongly said this was the duplex. There is some that they are taking a unit of either an apartment complex, as far as 4 or 2, and using that as a short-term rental and then keeping, we've had some that's kept one as a long-term. And we've also had one that is kept as a residence, there.
But that was your objection for?
No,
That was your objection.
Okay, that was a little backfeed, but our objection was just that it was R4. And that was already, that they could do a duplex at that, the density, we felt like that changed to a short-term rental at that location, because there is some other denser or, residential zoning around it. That's our only opposition.
Okay, but it's one unit,
Yes,
and it's going to stay 1 unit as an STR. And the zoning will change from R4 to STR
to a planned development.
to a planned development. Okay. All right.
Yeah, and it's more that, like I said, it's that transient in nature. It's the 30 days or less rental is, when you do that, then it's part of that zoning change.
But we have some other R3s and I can't see if that's R5 or what is that? I can't see it on the map.
R4 includes that tract of land and then it goes across the street. This to your east is the dominant. That's where that zoning is. The R5 is just adjacent to the west and the R3 is south of them.
Okay.
But all of those, as I said, that's density as far as, duplexes that has, none of those residential zonings has any transient rental, less than 30-day rental allowed by right in those zones.
Are they duplexes today or are they single units?
That I don't know adjacent to them.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Director Phillips? All right, well, we've had all the questions.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Mayor. And I apologize for my tardiness and technical difficulties. But my question for Director Collins, and I know we're scheduling a meeting to discuss the short term, but as it relates to this one, you mentioned that this is out of character with the R4 designation, but typically the staff has recommended approval when it's a R2 designation originally, correct?
On some properties, yes.
On some properties, I'm not saying as an absolute, and I don't understand, so hopefully you can explain to me why the STR is incompatible with an R4, but it would be with an R2. And I understand that you said there's no other STR in the areas, but there are no other STRs in the areas unless we approve them, right? So they only get there once we approve them. So I'm trying to understand why R4, that puzzle piece doesn't work, but the R2 puzzle piece does work.
Well, some of our recommendations, we do recommend denial on the R2 zoning. That doesn't work for the area. And when we first started looking at these, it depends on where some of the residential ones are located too, on that, whether those are recommended, whether they're R2, R3, or R4. What we looked at on this property was just what the density is around it, what is happening around it. And then I did bring up, there was a rezoning just a block north that the board did approve a plan development for a short-term rental at that southeast corner of Cumberland and 15th. So when we looked at this one, it was just that this was a transient nature. That's the change. We felt like the R4 zoning, it's already zoned R4, they could have a duplex, rental for long-term, but the change to just a short-term rental for this one was a change that the area has not seen, in that block or in that adjacent, except for that one that I just spoke of on 15th.
But, and I'm trying to get clarification, so I hope I don't come off as challenging. I know people tell me that my tone comes off as challenging. That's just how I talk, but I'm trying to get an understanding. So with every STR is transient in nature though, right, Director Collins?
That's correct.
So no matter where it goes, it's going to be a transient issue no matter what neighborhood it's in, correct?
That's correct.
And we don't have a STR neighborhood, so wherever, if we approve any of them, this issue, I guess what I'm getting at, your concern here seems to apply everywhere. Because there's always going to be a first STR that's transient in a neighborhood that doesn't have a STR.
As far as the transient nature, I would agree.
Okay. What part do you disagree with?
Well, I've explained it's the R4 zoning. We also look at density and what's happening in the uses of the property and what is happening around it, in that location. So if typically as a short-term rental, even in transient nature, looks to be more towards commercial or a destination, then that would change a recommendation from either recommendation of denial to recommendation of approval. As it gets closer to the center of single-family residential, whether a neighborhood is opposed to it or not, our recommendation may go to denial. I explained that this is in the middle of different R2 residential zoning, be it R4, R5, and R3. And I explained that a block north, you did approve one, but we feel that this is still residential zoning and can be utilized for duplex.
Mr. Collins, Director Phillips, when Mr. Collins is speaking, if you'll mute your line, so we won't have that echo.
But it is up to the board. That is only a recommendation of staff. And the planning commission did approve it.
And I appreciate that. And I ask those questions because I want to get the staff understanding because I respect your expertise and your recommendations on these issues. And I have a better understanding after that last explanation. So I appreciate that, Director Collins.
You are welcome.
You are welcome. All right, Mayor, that's all I have.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay.
No.
Ayes have it. Madam Clerk, if you would, please read item number 34. We'll get the motion in a second.
Move to suspend the rules and place item 34 on second reading.
There's a motion, there's a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, second reading.
An ordinance to approve a plan zone development, establish a plan development commercial titled Martin 2 STR2 PDC located at 4816 Kenyon Street. Second reading.
There a motion, second for a third reading?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, third reading.
An ordinance to approve a plan zone development, establish a plan development commercial titled Martin 2 STR2 PDC located at 4816 Kenyon Street. Third and final reading.
Members of the board, we have 1 for, 6 against. I'll ask for those that are against, since there's 6 of you all, probably with the same message, if we could make those as brief as possible, if possible. We'll start off with 4, Amy Brotman.
I did not plan to speak today about this property because I didn't even know it was on the reading, but I just wanted to say I have stayed at Sarah's properties. I've stayed at probably 20 different STRs in Little Rock. My husband's family is from here, and we prefer to stay in homes. Sarah's properties are very well maintained. The yards are very well maintained. The homes are very nice. She rents them at a very high rate, so the clientele that she attracts is a much higher clientele than you would get at some of the less expensive ones. And I'm very appreciative that she has these homes because it allowed us to actually experience what it was like to live in those neighborhoods as we looked for a home for ourselves and that we were going to live in and also use as an STR. So I was really impressed with her family and her family's business. So thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you so much. Mr. Mark Robertson? Sure. Well, defer is to me, defer means a couple different things, but we can. We normally don't do it that way. We kind of go in the order that you signed up. Well, I will take a privilege, but we'll go, and Ms. Leanne Robertson.
Thank you. I'll try to be as brief as possible. We have a few others that would like to speak as well. I am against the STR on 4818 Kenyon. It is owned by an out-of-state investor who I believe lives in Oregon. We've only received confirmation of his contact information from this process that he had to go through. I live about 20 feet away from this house. My driveway abuts directly to the driveway across the road. I see the front of the house every single time I go out of my house. Every time I go to my yard, to leave my yard, I see somebody I don't know. I don't know who lives there. They may live there for 2 days. They may live there for 2 weeks, and then somebody else comes in. I never know who that neighbor is, and I see that yard and those people constantly, every single time I take my dog for a walk, every time I go to my car, every time I come home from work. Any arrangements or solutions that are made to parking that alleviate things will not alleviate when multiple people come in that I don't know. Will they park in my drive, which they have, and block access? Will they smoke in my driveway, which they have, because they can't smoke in that drive, in that area, in that house? Will I have to watch out for loose dogs that come out to meet my elderly dog that I don't know? Do I have to pick up their trash when they leave, which I do? Do I have to succumb to their parties that they have, which I have? At all times, this could be happening in the same week, and it has. It's very disconcerting not knowing who they are or what to expect each time I go out to my car or empty my trash or take my dog for a walk. It is exhausting. We have approximately over 400 that we've found, homes in Hillcrest that are on STRs. We have about 48 within a mile radius of my house. It has completely changed the neighborhood, and I am against it. We are a residential neighborhood. If you change this to an STR, you're taking away what I hold most dear to my neighborhood, my neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ms. Lisa Lee.
Hi, I live on Monroe, and the 4816 Kenyon House has applied for the STR. This property is adjacent to my house. I object to this property turning into a short-term rental. We didn't move to Hillcrest to be next to a rental property. We moved here for a neighborhood. My concerns with the rezoning deals with safety. Instead of a permanent neighbor, there's transient people, which is what was been discussed. I'll move on from that. But at the quarterly 12th Street Division meeting, the mayor did report an increase of crime related specifically to STRs. Also, there's a parking problem. They have about 4 parking spaces in front of the house, 2 in the front of the house, a carport, and a garage, and the garage is used as storage. Even with this ample amount of parking, we still experience restricted access to our alley. Hillcrest isn't known for their wide streets or alleyways. Ours is only 1 car width wide. We've had renters and management company with their vehicles parked, blocking the alley. Because of the restricted parking in front of our house on Monroe, we are forced to use the alley to access the back of the house. We have also experienced where vehicles are not parked within the parking pad and over into the alleyway. At times, I've witnessed renters parked at the neighbors' properties. In addition, the encounters with the management company have not been pleasant. There's also trash. It's an issue in the alleyway that the renters leave that we'll have to pick up. The house on Kenyon is in the middle of a neighborhood. Also is 2 blocks away from an all-girls school. This is a highly desirable area to live in, and that is being taken away from those who want to enjoy the amenities of the community where we pay taxes. The current owner of the property is not a resident of Arkansas and has more than 1 STR in the Hillcrest area, which another one of his properties is on the agenda today. So that's what I would like to say.
Thank you so much, Mr. William Conyard. And then after that, Mr. Robertson.
I would just like to say, with my neighbors, I oppose this STR. My main concern is I'm a technology, an IT person, and I have irregular hours. And on 8 occasions, I've been blocked from leaving my garage by renters and also the management company. And when asked to move their vehicles, they've been very hostile, and the management company even suggested that I call the police in order to get them to move. This is not why I moved into the neighborhood. I should not have to deal with this on a regular basis. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Robertson.
I'll be brief. I mainly put a card in just in case something got left out. I think it's pretty much been covered. Thank y'all for the opportunity to come and address this. I've lived in the neighborhood 32 years, and in that home for 30 years. I lived in the property behind for the first 2 we were here. We have approximately 60 signatures from the neighbors that oppose this. I don't think we need to keep going over more and more of it. I would say that even though staff had recommended passing, same argument for us applies. It's transient, being a transient use, not empowering and making the neighborhood better. So I appreciate a no vote. Thank you.
Mr. Michael Brooks. And after that, Ms. Diane Brooks.
Most of what I wanted to say has already been said, but I do want to point out that my wife and I live in 4818 at the house adjacent to the property in question. even the parking that's there now is a problem because often if there are people there parked in the parking in front of the house, we can't see getting out of our driveway. And, that's an issue that we're really unhappy with. And also, we're concerned too about the idea of there being nobody there. The fact that STRs have been known to draw crime, and we live next door. That's a security concern for us as well. Given the fact that most everybody else has covered what I had in mind to say, I want to thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Mr. Brooks. Mrs. Brooks?
Okay. Basically, the same thing. Everything's been covered, and we just want to iterate that we're against this. We feel like we're losing our neighborhood. We've lived there 39 years. We moved to this neighborhood because it's family-oriented, and this STR is taking away a family's to move in there. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you so much. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, say. You sure can. You normally ask that the owners do a card, but for legal reasons, we'll ask you to do that. But going forward, if you'll make certain that if you ever come back, that you sign up before a card. But please approach. That's the reason why you weren't recognized, because there wasn't anything here.
Okay. At the Planning Commission, the applicants were automatically called, so I was unaware of the card. I apologize for not knowing the procedure. It's been mentioned I am an out-of-state owner. That is very accurate. I grew up in North Little Rock. My mother still lives in North Little Rock, and I am back in the area regularly. This year so far, this is my third trip. I am on premise to make sure that it is being managed as I would expect. I have hired Little Rock Furnished Rentals to professionally manage the property so that all of the requirements of the short-term rental code can be met. We have provided contact information to the neighbors. Several of their complaints have not been voiced to us. I'm not aware of the trash complaint in the past. When I've been on the property, I have not noticed trash in the area. My property manager is located within 7 minutes of the property, and she is able to respond within the ordinance required 60-minute or less time frame to any complaints. All of the neighbors have been given my personal contact information as well as a property manager. We've made ourselves very available to, to receive any complaints. My objective of owning this property and the way my management objective is to run it in a way that it does not generate complaints. If we're generating complaints, we've failed. So we'll do whatever we can to make tenants more aware of parking situations. One of the complaints is regarding parking that is actually on premise, blocks the view of the neighbor. Within Hillcrest, that's very common. We are working to expand the parking so that that parking area is not used anymore, and that neighbor does have good sight lines. My goal, as I stated in my letter that I sent to all of the neighbors prior to the Planning Commission meeting, was I want us to be a good neighbor. I know it's not their ideal neighbor, possibly because of the short-term nature. However, the way we run and operate is in a very professional manner, and if we're going to have short-term rentals in Little Rock, this is going to be one that will be run better than most, and my goal is to have it the best run short-term rental in the city. After the Planning Commission meeting a month ago, when we realized there was opposition, I went and door knocked every door within a reasonable radius, all adjoining properties, the block around, and then one street removed. And I invited everybody to contact me at any point, as well as I had an open house where I could hear concerns. The only concerns that were brought up at the open house that I had was in regards to parking, and we discussed it. I disagree with what they ultimately want because I think it moves the problem onto the street. However, I did remove part of our parking, and we'll back some more of the parking away once we expand our 2 spots that have been complained about. So I've done what I can to address concerns that are coming from the neighbors. A few of the neighbors, when we did have that evening and when I did door knock, gave me suggestions based on their experiences renting at other Airbnbs. So we do have quite a few neighbors who they also use short-term rentals when they are traveling. Leanne Robertson, who spoke, mentioned that she was somewhat of a hypocrite, those are her words, because she was going to be using a short-term rental the following weekend. She also mentioned that she felt that this should be grandfathered in because we were an existing use from prior to the short-term rental ordinance going into place. At this point, to my knowledge, we've been fully compliant with the short-term rental rules, and it is our absolute goal to maintain that. As far as parties, they're absolutely not allowed by our rules. They're not allowed by Airbnb's terms of service, and they're not something that we desire to have in that property. And we try to screen out tenants so that we don't have those types of issues. We're looking to be a high-quality executive-type furnished rental, not a short vacation party-type rental. That's the last thing that I want or my manager wants. The liability, the wear and tear, the maintenance, et cetera, is not acceptable for that profile of short-term rental. I think that covers, our standards. Do we have any questions?
There's no questions, to my knowledge. Normally, we don't go back and forth with questions unless the city director has a question. Director Wire, do you have a question? No question. Do you have anything else before we go to a vote? Sir?
We did have Planning Commission and also the city recommend this short-term rental. And yeah, with that, like I say, it's my goal to operate in a very compliant manner that makes us, a top operating short-term rental.
Thank you so much. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Nays have it. Nays have it. We'll now go into citizen. Director Wire, is your hand up without accident? We'll go to citizens communication. All right, thank you. Natalie Shelton. We'll tell him. And Mr. Shelton, where'd he go? Did he leave?
I'm ready.
I'm sorry, look,
Oh, wait.
I didn't have a card for the applicant. If you'll stay afterwards, and I'm sorry, Mrs. Shelton. If the applicant will hold off to talk to Mr. Carpenter afterwards. Sorry about that.
You're fine. Members of the board, once again, my name is Natalie. I am a citizen of Little Rock and I work for Best Friends Animal Society. I'm sure you are all privy to the emotional reactions connected to animal welfare matters. People will argue, scream, cry, and protest because the voiceless deserve a voice. And even when people are standing in opposition of how to solve a problem, they both share the same fear, that things will get worse and not better. And while there may be differing opinions on what the way through looks like, it is very clear that the current system of animal sheltering is counterproductive. A common word you'll see throughout Best Friends rhetoric is kindness, or words similar in meaning. Kindness begets hope, unity, and clarity. A path through the homeless pet population crisis is to be kind to animals, but also to be kind to each other, to listen to understand and find common ground between city shelters and the communities they serve. It's not closing doors, it's expanding services, kindness, and opportunity. With this approach, we have pulled 2,521 animals from overcrowded Arkansas shelters into our program since March 1st of last year. Since January 1st of this year, we performed over 1,600 spay and neuter surgeries, which doesn't include the spay and neuter surgeries we are funding for shelters at local clinics. Our Northwest Arkansas clinic has done 118 heartworm treatments at no cost to the animals' families, and that's not including the shelters we are currently sponsoring heartworm treatments for at local clinics.
We have been able to step in during dire situations such as pulling 30 at-risk dogs from Jacksonville in less than 2 weeks. I was the first person the West Memphis Animal Shelter called when a hoarding case brought 70 terrified, sick, pregnant, and heartworm-positive dogs to their shelter. I actually drove our transport van down this morning to West Memphis at 5:30 a.m. so we could do intake on 29 of these dogs, so their health issues, physical and emotional damage, and 2 moms with their newborn puppies can receive care. I networked with another organization because, again, we are greater when we're united. All 70 are safe now. Animals both in and outside our city shelters deserve help in a kinder world. So the questions remain, why turn down these free resources and opportunities for our Little Rock shelter? When will the Animal Advisory Board meet again so we'll be in compliance with the ordinance? Why is the 2023 shelter data, which should be public information, not available? Why not allow a shelter assessment, which will merely give you all more information and potential options? Gaining insight and free help to get more animals adopted is what is being offered. Lastly, why not allow Best Friends to come before you for a full presentation of what this all looks like and to answer any lingering questions or concerns you may have? We should all have one goal in common. We want our city shelter to thrive. Thank you for the opportunity again.
Thank you so much. Members of the board, is there a motion and a second to go into adjournment?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Mayor,
All those in
Mayor,
favor, say aye.
Mayor, real quick.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Last night we had a meeting and one of the residents asked about our ability to work with minority-owned vendors as we issue contracts. And I wanted the city attorney to give us an update about the disparity study so we can try to move further in that direction. So can I get that update before we adjourn?
The mayor shook his head yes. The disparity study contract has been entered. The participants and the finance department and the city departments are to meet on Monday, and they will go through the discussions on how the work will proceed. It is anticipated that it will be an 8-month to 1-year timeframe to be able to look at the questions that the study is supposed to address.
And I guess, city attorney, just to follow up to that, hypothetically, or theoretically rather, assuming we check the appropriate boxes a year from now or a year after the study, we will be able to change, again, theoretically, change our policies to address that vendor issue?
I think the answer to your question is yes, Director Phillips. The city does things already and works with the Chamber of Commerce to support minority businesses and mentor them through various processes. Those will continue, and nothing about the disparity study impacts that. If the disparity study shows a significant disparity, then at that time, the board can consider other options in order to assure a wider distribution of contracts.
Exactly what I need to know, and make sure I will share it with those who ask. Thank you, city attorney. That's all I have, Mayor. I will make the motion to adjourn at this point.
There's already a motion and a second, so Director Hines is in discussion.
I'm sorry, we got out over my skis. Mayor, I have 2 items. Today we had the employee recognition today, and we may have missed somebody, but I think our city attorney, Mr. Tom Carpenter, has got his 40 years in with the city. And I don't know if we overlooked that today, but I wanted to recognize him for his 40 years of service to the city.
We actually are going to do it in September in a special way. But we definitely are grateful because we trust and believe he'll make it to September.
All right, well, good deal. Well, like I said, I didn't want to feel he was left out. The other item I want to get out to the public is we just did a small resurfacing of the southbound end of Napa Valley that goes down to Bowman Road, where it transitions into Bowman Road. There's been a road diet applied to that and bike lanes installed, and talking to none of the folks in my community that I represent were aware of it. I wasn't aware of it. So having some discussion today with John Honeywell, our Public Works Director, as I suspected, it has to do with our Complete Streets Ordinance. But that Complete Streets Ordinance, the referencing document, is the actual bike master plan. When we passed the Complete Streets Ordinance, and that I was opposed to, I don't recall our bike master plan or anything I've seen on bike master plan having anything to do with any routes along Napa. The concern for me is that we now have bike lanes going nowhere. They don't connect anywhere. They don't connect, and John's going to look into it, but when we resurfaced the other section in Napa Valley several years ago, we had passed the Complete Streets. So I would like for our, one of our agenda meeting discussions, I want a full workup on our Complete Streets Ordinance and our bike master plan. And I think we need to do a better job of public engagement, if that means reopening the Complete Streets Ordinance and putting that in there, since we don't seem to be doing a good enough job of it. That was what I was shared. I think folks wrap their heads around things a little better when they know what's coming, instead of just resurfacing a section and restriping it, unbeknownst to anyone. So while I was on vacation last week, I started getting, I think several of our fellow directors have gotten the same emails. This goes to the scope of the Complete Streets Ordinance. Sounded good, and it's all, we're going to do this. And then when you see it in implementation, it doesn't always make sense, and it's not what you signed up for. And I'm very concerned that we haven't been kept updated on what our bike master plan's going, although I do see that they're having public engagement, but they think they are preaching to the converted. And we're not talking to our residents and voters that we're getting ready to go out and ask for a sales tax increase. And I can tell you right now, I've had every one of them tell me, if this is what you're going to do with my sales tax money, I'm not going to support it. So we need to be very aware of what we're doing and the impacts it has on our constituents. We're not doing something to them, but something with them. I was a big proponent of putting a road diet on Henson Road, where I thought that it really was needed to slow down traffic. We came up with a proposal, went in and had a public hearing, and the same people that were objecting to the speeding objected to the road diet. I think we ended up with a stop signal. I don't know that the speeds have increased, but that was a place where we had driveways backing onto a residential street in a true residential area. Napa Valley, the section north of St. Charles Boulevard has no driveways backing up to it. It's a major thoroughfare, it's an arterial. The section that we just restriped and reduced the lanes has 3 or 4 multifamily complexes, a church, and has more egress traffic onto and off of Napa Valley than any place on the street. So it just didn't make any sense. And as our director said, it's just striping, so maybe we can look at changing it back and restriping it the way it was done. But I want to have that, ask that we have that put on one of our agenda meetings coming up to have a Complete Streets discussion on the ordinance. Tom, tell me, and I'll need your opinion on this, but restriping that road constitutes a change in the master street plan from the way it was originally designed. I know that I think our Complete Streets is woven into our master street plan. I'm not sure, but and this is the camel's nose under that we had it happen down in Louisiana right after we passed the ordinance. Nobody's happy with that design. It's been, and this is like, it just seems the horse before the cart. And like I said, nobody that I represent, and I've got both sides of Napa Valley there, in any engagements we've had ever envisioned having a road diet on that section, and discussed with Director Honeywell today. Well, it's got 12,000 cars a day on it, and that road diet will support that. That's what it supports today. West Little Rock is the fastest growing area of the city. Traffic counts are going up, not down. And I don't want to get in a situation where we've got Pulaski Academy, churches, the public library, lots of traffic coming through there. It connects a commercial node to the neighborhoods, that we end up doing this and then nobody wants to unwind it. I'd never envisioned having part of the bike master plan, a major thoroughfare like an arterial being part. You know, I understand if you want to cross an arterial, it seems to me the bike master plan should connect neighborhood bike trails if you got to cross a major arterial, but I don't envision anyone wanting to ride bicycles down a big thoroughfare like that with other traffic. I will tell you, when I was younger and rode a road bike, this was back before the days of protected bike lanes. I rode in traffic, I had no issues, and there's a lot of studies that will tell you, and I'm sure I'm gonna get the bike mafia on me, but there are a bunch of studies that these protected bike lanes give cyclists a false sense of security, and they lose their sense of situational awareness, and they actually cause more accidents than they prevent. But I'll get off my soapbox, and if we can add that to our agenda meeting, I would appreciate it. And Tom, if you just kind of give me your thoughts on that at some point in the future, how that's all woven in legally, but I think we need to look at everything. Thanks.
Thank you, Director Hines. Director Peck?
Thank you. I'll be very brief, Mayor. Sorry I can't be there. Director Hines, thank you for addressing that. Even though it's not exactly my ward, it's very close, and I've gotten several phone calls and emails from people who live on the other side of Henson. And I would echo Director Hines' concerns that we can't do things to people. We should have had some public meetings about this. That's water under the bridge now, but I echo some of his concerns. And Lance, thank you for bringing that up tonight. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Peck. Director Wyrick?
Thank you, Mayor. I think we're going to be talking about SDRs in the future. I think Emily's trying to get a meeting together to discuss that. One of the residents tonight, so we were talking about, one of the SDRs said that she went to a crime meeting, a police meeting, and the policeman indicated that crime had increased in the city due to STRs. If we have that kind of data, it'd be nice to have that when we sit down and look at the changes that we want to make to STRs or when we have our discussion. So I'd appreciate some information on that. Probably was the Northwest substation. No.
It was 12th Street.
What?
It was at the 12th Street quarterly meeting in January, or in April for the first.
Okay, so 12th Street. So anyway, that caught my ear whenever she said that. The other thing I'd like to say is we're going after a sales tax, and looked at Moorhardt Park. It needs to be mowed. Grass is up to your knees in Moorhardt Park. Also, the community center on Baseline Road, when I was there the other night, looked like it could be clipped, it could be mowed. So we need to, if we're going to ask for more money, we need to take care of what we have. So that's just a word to the wise there. It doesn't look good now. It needs to be taken care of. Thank you.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Ayes have it. Meeting adjourned.